It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Labyrinth of Nightmare was released March 1st, 2003. While this set introduced no overlying archetypes, it does have a sub-theme revolving around banishing cards from graveyards. But it also has a lot of attack floodgates intended to slow the format down. There are a number of cards I do want to go over. Mask of Weakness being the first one. This is a battle trap that decreases the attacking monster by 700 points. Because of the lack of Rush Recklessly in our card pools, this could very well see play. Tornado Wall will be good once we get a Legendary Ocean out of Legacy of Darkness, but will not be good now because it requires us to play a very subpar field spell. The big common we're looking for is Fairy Box. This is a card that makes it nigh impossible for your opponent to attack, and it only costs 500 life points per turn. This is going to discourage aggression and perhaps guide one or both of us to play some kind of stall or burn strategy. A Collected Power is a powerful side deck card against the equipped decks, and it can also be good in the equipped decks as well, because you can move your equips mid-battle to another monster to get to use them a second time, and that can wind up adding huge bursts of damage to your turn, and possibly even lead to OTKs. A Fusion Gate is another way for us to touch the extra deck, and because I did not get any polymerization, I will be able to access the extra deck by way of Fusion Gate, though it does banish the materials rather than sending them to the graveyard. Vengeful Bog Spirit is a pseudo-attack floodgate that prevents monsters from attacking the turn they are summoned. Amazoness Archer is a good finisher for any sort of burn strategy when you just need that last little bit of damage. Lightning Blade is good for warrior decks, but Mahavilo is a spellcaster, so we will unfortunately not be able to use it. Dancing Fairy and Cure Mermaid form the basis of the Fire Princess burn deck, which hopefully I will get to play, but no guarantees. We have Saint Joan, which is the biggest fusion at common at 2,800. Offerings to the Doomed is our first piece of common removal. It does skip your draw phase and can only destroy face-up monsters, but it is a strong card and will see play just due to the lack of removal options. There are a cycle of 5 monsters in this set that can only be special summoned by banishing one monster of their attribute. These will see play in decks that have a large portion of monsters that have an attribute in common. Zombira the Dark is a 2100 normal summon that cannot attack directly and lose 200 attack every time it destroys a monster in battle. The Dark Door is an attack floodgate that stops all but one attack each battle phase. A Bait Doll is going to make its way into our 55 somewhere for both of us. This is our first real spell and trap removal that we have access to. What Bait Doll does is it forces the activation of a trap card. If the timing for its activation is incorrect, the trap gets negated and destroyed. If it's not a trap, it gets set again. Ekibio Drakmord is an upgrade for Paralyzing Potion. This stops any equipped monster from attacking, even if it's a machine, and then it gets returned to the hand, and the equipped monster destroyed 2 turns after it's activated. At rare, we have a bunch of not-so-great cards, and then a few fairly nice cards. The Destiny board pieces are all taking up rare slots. which is unfortunate because there are some rares in the set that we would want multiples of, and Destiny Board is an ultra rare, so most likely these will wind up being blanks. Spiritualism and Tornado Bird are pseudo spell and trap removal in that they bounce back row, which could be very good if you're trying to make a final push, but Tornado Bird is not very good at that because if it gets destroyed by battle, the cards will just get set again. Gillosaurus is a very strong rare in this set. You can special summon it from your hand, and then your opponent gets to special summon a monster from their graveyard. It is a very strong going first card. Jaugen the Spiritualist is part of the last turn combo that we'll talk about next set. Dark Lord Marie is something that could be very good in Demon's deck, specifically because he's playing a ritual deck, and that makes it very easy for him to get this into the graveyard and start gaining life points. Plus, this is one of the fusion materials to make St. Joan, and St. Joan is a common and a big threat. Mask of Brutality could be good in the equip deck, but it does cost 1,000 life points per turn to keep on the field. I think it's good enough to play even just as a one-turn buff to a monster, especially if it's put on something like a Hayabusa Knight that's a 2,000 double attacker that needs to be dealt with regardless of whether the Brutality is on it or not. Amphibian Beast is a 1 tribute, 2,400. That's very playable on its own. At the super rare slot, we have a lot of hit or miss stuff. Mask of the Accursed is very good removal that burns your opponent. Jar of Greed lets you play a less than 40 card deck if you're willing to wait a turn. Bazu and Kaiku are probably the two best super rares in a vacuum. Kaiku is an 1,800 beater that banishes 2 cards out of your opponent's graveyard when it does battle damage and prevents your opponent from banishing cards. Bazu can be a 2,500 if you have enough monsters in your graveyard. Muroku Field is interesting. It is a counter for any spell card that targets one monster exactly. We have a lot of targeted removal right now, so this could be very good, especially against something like Tribute to the Doomed. The super rare I'm going to be chasing is Fire Princess. Fire Princess is a monster that deals 500 damage to your opponent every time you gain life points. This triggers once per source. So if you have, say, 2 Solemn Wishes, and then you draw a card, this will trigger for both of the Solemn Wishes. The ultra rare is also hit or miss. We have Torrential Tribute, United We Stand, and Mage Power and Card of Safe Return as the big hits. These are the ones that we will be super happy to obtain. Torrential Tribute is a board wipe. United We Stand and Mage Power are the biggest equips in the game. Card of Safe Return is the best card long term, as this draws you a card whenever a monster is special summoned from your graveyard. It is not once per turn. This card is extremely ban-worthy once we get a certain archetype such as zombies later on. Mask of Restrict is a tribute floodgate. It's not a big deal if we don't get this now because it does get reprinted at common in a reprint set down the line. Dark Necrofear is a Fiend payoff. We may be able to make this work with a couple of Fiend-based archetypes down the line, but I don't expect this to see play immediately. It's a 2,200, 2,800 body that when it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, at the end phase, it comes back as a Snatch Steal. The Last Warrior from Another Planet is an interesting one as well. It is a full summon lockdown. It completely prevents summoning in any way, shape, or form. So this is a pretty crazy metamorphosis target once we get to Pharaonic Guardian. And depending on if this is pulled, this could actually influence us to play Mario Kutai, which is not a great card, but it is one of the materials, and the other material is Zombira the Dark, which is a good card on its own. The 2 secret rares, although they're not insane as they were in Pharaoh Servant, are still both very powerful. Gemini Elf is a 1900 normal summon, and Magic Cylinder is a very powerful burn card. And with the release of Labyrinth of Nightmare comes a new limited list. This updates with some cards from Pharaoh's Servant and a single card from Tournament Pack 2. The newly released Jinzo is now limited to 1 copy per deck. Morphing Jar, Witch of the Black Forest, Card Destruction, Limiter Removal, Premature Burial, Swords of Revealing Light, Call of the Haunted, Ceasefire, and Imperial Order are now limited to 1 copy each. And then Morphing Jar number 2, Nobleman of Crossout, and Backup Soldier are now semi-limited to 2 copies each. Alright, 24 packs of Labyrinth of Nightmare. The power level on this is a little bit lower, and it does encourage some deck building strategies besides just attacking with monsters. So I don't think this is going to have quite the impact that Magic Ruler and Pharaoh Servant had on our series, but this will still have some pretty impactful cards, especially if we can snipe some of the high rarity bombs. So let's go ahead and get started with our first pack, and nothing really special out of this one. And there's our first copy of Bait Doll, as well as Fusion Gate, and our rare is Dark Lord Marie. We could potentially wind up playing St. Joan ourselves if we get enough copies of Fusion Gate, although it will not be able to take advantage of Dark Lord Marie's ability. It is still a way to get a 2800 body on the table quickly. And there's another copy of Dark Lord Marie, as well as some of the Banishers. We did also get a copy of Collected Power if we do choose to play the equip deck, although with all the attack floodgates in this deck, I'm not sure if I want to. The Dark Door is not actually a horrible idea as well if we can pick it up for the equip deck, because we will generally only want to attack with one monster per turn anyway, since we're going so vertical. And there is an ultra rare Mask of Restrict. This was not an ultra rare I'm particularly excited to see, just because we will have access to it later when it becomes important, and it will be available to us at lower rarities. Right now, Mask of Restrict is not a great card, but it could be a very strong side deck card once we have things like Monarch running around. And there's our first copy of Fairy Box. This card is going to be just everywhere in the format, and it's going to make combat completely miserable just for both sides. Did you pay Fairy Box? And there's our first really nice card. It is not the secret rare that I would prefer, but it is a very strong secret rare still. It is Gemini Elf. This is going to be the best normal summon until we get a low rarity version of it in Dark Crisis. But that's still quite a few sets away. The Jowgen's not a bad pickup either, but Gemini Elf is going to be nice. And that's one of the cards I was really looking for out of the set. That's a Mask of the Accursed. Very good super rare. I'm more leaning towards transitioning to a burn strategy now. Even if I don't get a Fire Princess, I am looking to transition to a burn strategy for the next episode or two. We're still missing some key cards, but I think a burn strategy is just going to be the way to go, especially with Fairy Box floating around. If we can just make a deck that doesn't care about attacking and just use a burn cards as a win condition, that could wind up being very strong. And there's our Dark Door. That's one of the cards that we were looking for the stall strategy. Nothing else too exciting in this pack, but that is a noteworthy card. And there's a second Mask of the Accursed, as well as our first Sombira. The second Mask of the Accursed is something I'm super excited about. Definitely leaning towards playing Burn now. I would love to hit a Fire Princess. And even if we don't hit a Fire Princess now, Fire Princess does get a few reprints, and we'll have access to the card later on at lower rarities. So I would like to pick one up now, but it's not imperative. It would definitely be nice and solidify my want to play this Burn deck. And there's another good super rare, that's Ruroku Field. We could wind up playing this in, say, the deck with Mahavilo, but we also don't want to play too many counter traps in that deck, because that can make the deck kind of bricky, as we saw in the previous episode where I just could not draw a monster to save my life. I just needed to draw any monster during that game and I was fine, but just could not find one. And there is our first Drakmord, as well as another Zombira. Not bad commons. I would like to see a one good holo. We haven't hit too many crazy holos. We've hit some good ones, definitely. The Masks of the Accursed are really nice. And there's a third Mask of the Accursed. Apparently, it is just in the cards to play Burn. I will definitely take a third Mask of the Accursed. Tornado Bird's not bad, but a third Mask of the Accursed is something else. What is with just getting multiples of super rares? There's another Fairy Box. I think that rounds out our playset. Oh, we already had a playset before, but that does round out our Fairy Box. We got us another St. Joan and a Spirit of Flames, I guess. This pack is actually just kind of dead. There's a Jowgen. Jowgen. That's also, I believe, our second copy of Vengeful Bog Spirit. I don't think that's a card I'm going to want to play 3 of, but 2 is quite nice, and I will take a Jowgen. If last turn comes up in the next pack, that would be hilarious. Not the next booster pack, but the next pack that we will be opening cards of. It is not in this set, it's in the next set. I believe that is one of each of the 4 Spirit Message cards, which is all you really need to be able to play that. No Destiny board yet, and I'm not counting on it. It could actually be a good card to play for now, just because the only piece of back row removal that Demon has that can actually deal with Destiny board is Heavy Storm. So if we do get the Destiny board, I might play it as a meme, but we shall see. It really depends on what the rest of my cards are. That Mask of Weakness does fill out our playset as well. And there's a Mask of Dispel, too. Unfortunately, Mask of Dispel does not negate the spell, it just causes the opponent to take 500 damage each turn. That's not terrible in a deck that's trying to stall the game out to begin with, but it's not quite as good as Mask of the Accursed, which also acts as removal. Oh, nice! That's a nice super rare. That is a Bazoo the Soul Eater. We will take that. That will allow us to do some graveyard tricks later on. And that, believe it or not, is our first copy of Offerings to the Doom. I'm not in huge need of this because I have double Fissure, double Knock, and some other pieces of removal, but Demon might want to elect to play that card just because of his lack of removal. Alright, so we're coming up on the end of this. We've gotten some nice super rares, but no crazy bombs yet. No Torrential, Magic Cylinder, or anything such as that. Maybe we can get one in the close. Nothing in this pack. We did pick up a couple of cards that could potentially be good in a Fire Princess burn deck if we could actually get a Fire Princess. I'm not counting on it with just a few packs to go. So we'll see what we have for our second to last pack, see if we can get anything good out of it. We got an Aqua Spirit, which I think might be our first one of those. That's troublesome as well, that we weren't picking up any of the spirits out of the set that we wanted. And then for our very last pack, we'll see what we wind up with. And in the close, we got a super rare Revival Jam, we got another Aqua Spirit, we got a copy of Spiritualism as well, which can take care of spell traps in a pinch. I think this was a decidedly average opening. We didn't get a lot of bombs out of this set, but we got some nice tech cards that I could use to change what I'm going to do with my deck. See you in Deck Edit. Well, here's the list. A lot has changed, as you can see. After losing twice in a row with the Mahavilo deck, I've decided to go in a little bit of a different direction. We're going from an aggressive all-in equipment plan to a slow the game to a snail's pace burn plan. I'll go through the card by card with you. 2 Banisher of the Light. This combines with Gravekeeper Servant to form a hard attack floodgate. It is a little bit of a non-bow with the Shallow Grave Spear Cretin loop, but we want to have as many ways to attack Floodgate as possible. A triple Dancing Fairy. If we have an attack Floodgate up, this can gain us lots and lots of life points. Plus, if we do need to go aggro, a 1700 body is not too bad. We have double Giant Rat to float into our 1 copy of Labyrinth Wall. Double Magician of Faith to recur our power spells. A triple Princess of Tsurugi. This is going to be one of our main burn cards that will let us get our opponent's life total behind ours. That way, the burning land in our spell department will be able to kill them. This is a flip effect monster, which we have a lot of recurability for. 1 copy of Sandgin, triple Spear Cretin. So if we can limit the number of attacks our opponent can make each turn, then this will become a lock on monsters because once it is sent to the graveyard after being flipped, we can special summon a flip effect monster from our graveyard in face down defense position. And if we have a limit on the number of attacks, 2 copies of this card can recycle itself. 1 Witch of the Black Forest rounds out our monsters. For the spells, triple Burning Land. This is our best source of continuous damage. This does 500 damage per turn, and with all the sources of life gain, we should be able to outpace this. One confiscation. This may be boarded out depending on what our opponent is playing because we do have to pay life points to use this. But the free hand knowledge and being able to take their best card is pretty amazing. 2 Gravekeeper's Servant. We only pulled 2 of this, otherwise I would be on 3. Because this can also, if we lose our Banisher of the Light, we can stall out the game enough to the point where a deck out could be an option. A triple Mask of the Accursed. This is the best removal card in our deck. The only concern is that the monster that it is equipped to can be tributed off. However, this should give us plenty of opportunities to deal with his large monsters, especially since we have both spell cards and trap cards to be able to out the tribute monsters. Double Nobleman of Crossout. This is very good when paired with our Spear Cretin and our Shallow Grave, which you'll see later on. We have 1 Pot of Greed, 2 copies of the Dark Door. This is the card that lets us enable our Spear Cretin loop so that we don't die. Double the Shallow Grave for reusing flip effects, as we do have a lot of them in this deck. Double Vengeful Bog Spirit to prevent monsters from attacking the same turn they're summoned to try to slow down the game. And then 5 trap cards. 2 copies of Gravity Bind. This is our primary way to stop attacks. We have 1 copy of Solemn Judgment and 2 copies of Solemn Wishes as another way to gain life points. And that's it for the main deck. The extra deck does not matter. For the side deck, we have some backer removal in Trapmaster, Bait Doll, and D-Spell. 2 copies of Fisher in case we need more removal. 2 copies of Prohibition. This may come in after game 1, depending on what we see from Demon, but back row space is very important to maintain, and it's very easy to fill up the entire back row. A Remove Trap, a Snatch Steal. This is mostly for big tribute monsters in case we need to go aggro, but I don't really see us bringing this in too much unless there's something we really need to take control of, like a Jinzo. 1 Soul Release for Graveyard Shenanigans. I could see this coming in depending on what Demon has, because then this will limit the targets that Demon will have for Spear Cretin and for Shallow Grave. The 3rd copy of Shallow Grave as well, in case it winds up being super good. Tribute to the Doomed, in case we need more removal. And then Mirror Force, 7 Tools to the Bandit, and a 3rd Solemn Wishes. I'm excited to see how Demon deals with this, because if he doesn't have the right tools for this, I don't see this duel ending well for him at all. It is time to duel. I must say, I have a question for you before we get started.
And what's that?
Are you playing bullshit?
Why are you asking me that? I'm not Gavin.
Good
luck.
Right. Good. Yeah, let's get this on the road. I am very okay with this. I will take the play. Good luck, duelist.
Good luck.
Alright, I will draw for my turn, stand by, main. I'm gonna start out like this. Just a T-set. Go!
Alright, draw. Stand by main. Well, I guess we'll start with a little bit of greed.
Not okay with that, but sure.
Alright. Ooh, that's a good card. Alright. I think I'm just gonna set a card and set a couple.
Fine by me. I will activate Solemn Wishes at your end step.
Solemn Wishes? Oh no, so you're playing bullshit.
Perhaps. Draw for turn, stand by main.
Alright.
I will set another monster and I will end my turn.
Alright, I draw, stand by main. I think I'm gonna flip my Magician of Faith.
Seems powerful.
So we'll go ahead and take back our Pot of Greed.
Yep.
And let's fire it off.
You got it.
Alright. Not exactly what I was hoping to see, but not terrible. I think I'm gonna tribute my Magician for Jinzo.
Well, I guess I'm not going to be gaining life points anytime soon.
And let's hit your new set.
It's Witch.
Alright.
What do I want? What do I want with Witch is the question. I'll get a copy of Princess of Tsurugi.
Oh, dear God. Not that thing.
It's a good card.
Yeah, it is. I kind of wish I pulled one. Or a couple, rather. Alright. Main 2. I guess I'll just go.
Draw for turn. I do not gain life points. Kind of want to slow the game down a little more.
Ew. Alright.
Go.
Standby main. Ew. I think I'm going to set a monster. And then, let's see what you originally set.
It's a giant rat.
Alright.
You're not going to be too happy with this.
Of course not.
Get over that, Jinzo.
Oh, God.
And then I'll slap a mask on him because I think he needs a new one.
Oh, man. Okay.
Go.
Alright, I draw. Standby, I will take the 5. Main 1. Ooh. Boy, that's going to be a rough one. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flip my Magician of Faith.
Pot of Greed again.
You know it.
Yep.
That is not what I wanted to see. Well, I mean, it's not the worst thing, I guess. Alright, I think I'm going to run out a copy of Senju with 1,000 Hands.
Ah, I see. I see how you're going to deal with the mask. That's clever. The fact that you've played Pot of Greed 3 times already suggests that you probably have a way to ritual summon out a crab.
You would think that.
You've drawn 6 extra cards! You still can't...
and unfortunately, I lack the Oath.
Yee. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a bit troubling. And the fact that I can't actually attack with anyone this turn is kind of rough on me, too.
Oh, that is nice.
Alright, yeah, I'll pass. At the bare minimum, I don't have to worry about my Magician getting destroyed this turn, either.
Alright, draw for turn, standby. Did you take the damage during your standby last time? Because it should be during mine. So
it's during... Okay. I thought it was during mine.
Yeah, so we'll actually resolve this correctly next turn.
Okay.
So I am going to set a monster, and I think that'll do.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. Oh, buddy, I needed that one.
Oh, did you just top deck Heavy Storm?
No. I top decked the Raigeki.
That's pretty good.
Oh, I just realized something stupid. I forgot to discard the hand size last turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and toss the cards that I was gonna toss then.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say, how are you holding that many cards?
And...
You drew for turn, so oh, wait, no, you have to discard one more. Because you played the Raigeki.
Right. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I think I kind of had Magic take over in my head on that one.
Even then, I think you still had too many cards.
Oh, true, because Magic has a hand size limit of 7.
Yep.
Right, yeah, I had like 9 or 10. Wow. My brain really went on vacation there. God, this is tough. Like, there's something I don't want to show off yet. Can do something here.
I mean, well, if you had the Heavy Storm, you would have played it. So you clearly don't have the Heavy Storm.
What the hell?
I'll just take it all. I'll just take it all.
Alright. And I will pass.
Alright, draw for turn.
During your standby, I will take the damage.
Main. I will set another monster and pass the turn. I'd really like to be gaining life points right now, but...
Finally! Alright, let's run out this Sonic Bird.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to be gaining life points again. Yup.
Let's see, how do I want to proceed here?
Well, we knew that one of us was going to be playing bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
The way this set is.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually perfectly content with revealing my little detail here this way, because this will actually get me pretty close to the end. I'm going to activate Heavy Storm. I actually had it sitting in my hand for a couple turns.
You did have it. Okay.
So I'm going to lose my Spellbinding Circle and my Imperial Order.
Oh, you got an Imperial Order too?
Remember how I said I only hit 2 hollows in the entire Pharaoh Servant set?
It was Jinzo and Imperial?
It was both secrets.
Wow, that's nuts.
So I'm going to go ahead and fire off Turtle Oath.
Yup.
I will pitch the first turtle I had in my hand to special summon the one I searched out. And then I'm going to activate Uniruka.
Wow, that's a thing.
So, battle phase. Let's send Jinzo into your defense.
Okay, what if anything gets me out of this?
Let's see, that's 28, 31, 6150 coming at you.
I'll just take it all.
Main phase 2, I will set a card, and I will pass.
Alright, draw for turn, stand by, main. Unfortunately, the heavy storm kind of won you the game. Nothing I can do about that.
Like, I really didn't want to show off the Imperial like that, but I didn't really have too much other choice.
So I get all the bad secrets, you get all the good secrets. Got it. Alright, game 2, let's try this again.
At least you're hitting other hollows in the process. I've been really, like, I've been hitting the top ones, but everything else I've been whiffing on big time.
Alright, let's go ahead and just get this started.
Oh my god.
Go!
Fine. I'll
Now,
take the 5.
Yeah, this one will actually trigger during each player's standby.
One of the few times that this card has ever seen the light of day, aside from the anime.
I mean, it's a win condition. What can I say?
True. Alright, I'll set a card. And I'll set a card.
Alright, draw for turn, standby. I will take 500.
At least that one is
Main.
reciprocal.
I'll activate another one,
Jesus!
and then I'll pass.
Alright. Fine, I'll take the 1,000. I don't really like that, but fine. I'm gonna activate Heavy Storm.
I mean, it gets it out of...
I have to toss my fairy box, but I cannot take 1,000 damage every turn.
No, you cannot take 1,000 damage every turn. You just can't.
Alright, I'm gonna flip my Man-Eater Bug, and let's pop your back air bottom
It's a
card.
witch.
Of course it is. That's not good.
What do I get with witch? Well, floater's gonna float.
Giant rat, alright. Let's thin the deck a little bit. I'm gonna summon Senju of the Thousand Hands.
Got it.
Alright, so we're gonna grab ourselves a crab turtle.
Yep.
And then battle.
I'll take it all.
Main phase 2, I will set a card, and I will pass.
Alright, draw for turn, standby main. I will set a pair.
Alright, draw. Standby main. Ooh, that's not the best. I'll set a monster. I will... Let's see. Let's see what you've got hidden there. Well, actually... Oh, it's a Sandkin.
It's a Sandkin.
Ooh, interesting.
I'm gonna get Magician of Faith.
Okay. I'm going to attack then with Man-Eater Bug. Do you
Sure.
have its response? On attack declaration, I'm going to activate Robin Goblin.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, yeah. Can't get that many.
Okay, so let's hit that one.
Pretty good.
Did it shuffle your hand when you picked it, or no?
It shuffled my hand, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't want it to turn around and do that on because of that. Alright, I'll go.
Alright, draw for turn, standby main. Well, I have something to slow the game down at least.
Ugh.
Go.
Alright. Stand by main.
I'm not too happy with this card in particular, but it slows the game down some at least.
It does. Okay, well, I don't like this, but I'm gonna switch Man-Eater Bug to defense. I'm gonna activate Yumiruka,
Sure.
and then I'm going to summon out a High Tide Gyojin.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The fact that I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, like this shows how far into the barrel I was scraping.
No, that card's
water
fine.
monsters.
That card's fine.
So 2150 into your defense.
It is the giant rat. I'm gonna wall up.
Ugh. Main 2. Let's hurry up and clear that wall. Oh, shit.
I don't like that because, I mean, I've already gone through 2 Burning Lands, so it's pretty obvious I'm not going to win with Burning Land.
Right.
Okay, maybe I can slow the game down enough. I really don't like committing, but I believe your hand is Crab Turtle.
Correct.
So I feel safe masking your Gyojin.
Alright.
And I will pass the turn.
Draw. Standby. Main.
I mean, it took us, what, 5 episodes for somebody to play Control?
Yeah. That's because up until that point, we didn't really have a lot of control to work with.
No.
Alright, so it's...
Once we get later into DM, like, even just the next few sets, the control decks are just gonna make it so much better.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna flip my Magician of Faith.
That's bad.
This is kind of a rough one, though, because it's like... I feel like I have to go for it. Like, I'll grab Fisher. If your face down is something that can stop me, then so be it, but...
I mean, I still think that's right.
I figure even if I Heavy Storm, I still have to find a way to clear over it, so...
And then I'm going to end up taking 23. That sucks. Yep.
Alright.
Solemn Wishes.
Okay. So, alright. So, end of turn.
Draw for turn.
I will take the 500.
Stand
You will
by.
gain your 500.
Yep. Main. Dang, why does your Monster Zone have to be full?
Wait, what? What are you...
God, why does your Monster Zone have to be full? That's so bad.
Okay. Oh, that's why.
I wanted to revive the lab wall, because that would actually save me, but, like, 1, you didn't have things in your graveyard, and 2, your Monster Zone was full.
Yeah. See, that's kind of the thing. That's why my Shallow Grave is in the side, because as much as it's a good card, the fact that you have both players have to have an open spot and a monster in the grave, it's kind of rough. Oh, wow, you pulled 3 Mask of the Accursed? Wait,
that's why I was playing this deck.
Oh, shit, that was a super!
Yeah, Mask of the Accursed is a super rare.
Wow, that's... Man, well, I guess I'll be respectful. You showed me a couple of yours, I'll show a couple of mine. I didn't pull a whole lot. And really, I pulled 3 hollows total. I did pull... Though I did do this.
Boy, I was looking for that card. Jesus Christ, you got 2 cylinders?
Yeah. Like, the first one, I want to say was, like, about halfway through the packs. And then on my last one, like, I had just gotten ready for the last pack. And I was like, man, can I at least have a hollow? So that way it's not just 2. And that was one of the most legitimate reactions I ever had to a pack. Just because I didn't expect to see that scrolling down. Like, because it started scrolling down. So, like, my brain barely had the time to even register what it was.
I would never have seen those anyway, because your Magic Cylinder was completely dead.
Well, yeah. Like, the funny thing was, the first game, I actually had both in hand while I had Jinzo on the field, so I couldn't even play them.
Use them, yeah.
And then afterwards, I was like, well, you're probably not going to attack me, but at the same time, if it comes down to you needing to, like, to get desperate, then I guess I might as well have them in there.
I don't play that many monsters in this deck. Honestly, what I was trying to do in both games was really just get to Cretan Loop.
Yeah, that would have been troubling for me.
I just could not establish board presence. I guess this means I have to go back to the drawing board again.
Well, it has been 3 times, so I think you get the catch-up wheel now.
Yes, so I get to explain what that's about. This is not the way I would have liked to do it, but it is the way we get to talk about it.
Also, I'm sure you're probably wondering why I used Uniruka instead of Yumi. There's actually 2 reasons for that. The first, I only pulled 1 Yumi, which is not good.
That's actually a better card in this deck specifically, but after the next set it won't be, because...
Yeah.
Legacy of Darkness is going to change things again a lot. We don't have true archetypes, but we have pretty extensive warrior support. We have the first really good field spell, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go in that set. But that is a discussion for another time. I will go ahead and mope in the corner for a while.
All right.
Well, I guess we have to go back to the drawing board again. Oh, that was mostly just due to bricking on attack floodgates. And this is not the way I wanted to explain a mechanic we have in the progression series, but just in case the decks get super lopsided, we do have a catch-up mechanic planned, where the loser of the match, if they have lost 3 or more consecutive games, will get 1 or more spins on the catch-up prize wheel, depending on the size of their losing streak. This contains prizes from high rarity wildcards to being able to get tournament pack cards that you wouldn't easily have access to other ways, as well as the ability to ban cards. That's actually what I'm gunning for, because I'm pretty sick and tired of Jinzo already, and I think that's probably what I'm going to end up banning if I do get a shot at it. So we will see what we get, although I'll really take any of the prizes that are on here. We'll see what we wind up with. Looks like we are going to get to ban something. Yes, it looks like we are going to get to ban a card. And just because of the nature of the decks that we have been seeing, the plan is pretty obvious. Good riddance, Jinzo. I just don't want to deal with you anymore. I mean, if I get to pull one later, so be it. I don't get to use it. But, yeah. Please get out of the format. I would like to play Control. And that'll be a wrap for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Join us next time when we open some Legacy of Darkness. Until then, see you around.